Welcome NorCal Cricket Crazies to coverage of the Chandrabotapati NCCA Super League on the Northern California Cricket Association YouTube channel. It's down to the nitty-gritty now as the top two teams, Afghan Zwanan and Strikers NextGen, prepare to do battle for the first official ticket to the Super League final. The loser will still be in contention, but they'll either be playing a de facto semi-final against this morning's winner, the AI Gladiators, or they'll be watching their game with great intrigue before they suit up for their season finale. Joe Hickey live with you from the Taarika Foundation ground in Morgan Hill, California for the start of squeaky bum time in the CB NSL. Strikers NextGen coming off a third consecutive improved result. They lost their opener, subsequently tied, then won a very, very close one, and then won emphatically in their last outing. And so they're looking to build on that and potentially punch that first ticket. They won the toss, and they will be batting first. And they put out front Kamran Hotak and Amog Adepali. Kamran, the captain, and Adepali, his teammate, both in Strikers NextGen and in the Silicon Valley Strikers of minor league cricket for that matter. It will be Kamran on strike to face off with his brother, Amir Hamza, who has the first ball from Atul's end of our encounter. That first delivery scoots by the bat into the gloves of the wicketkeeper. That is Sadeep Ganesh with the number 8. As we get things underway here in Morgan Hill. Hop, skip, and a jump. The lefty spinner, Amir Hamza, puts that one in a good spot, and it's fended off. Kamran, a pair of dots to start the encounter. First real shot taken, and that one is fired wide of the man in the circle. The two deep men, both located in front of the wicket and on the onside, converge. Deep protection here in the power play is at mid-wicket and at a wide-ish long on. 2 runs there on ball number 3. Here comes Amir Hamza. Flattens it out. Kamran again piercing the gap on the onside rather. That's a single, and we'll see the first of this lefty-righty pairing here for the men in sea green. A lot of blue in this league. Aces blue and red. Got blue and green for AI Gladiators, who won our early game today. Blue and black for Afghan Zwanan, and that sort of sea green color, which you could convince me is a shade of blue as well, for the men that I often call the men in two-tone blue from the Strikers. First ball faced by Adepali. That one's fended off to the offside. That'll be a dot delivery. Amir Hamza, the second leading wicket taker in the competition, and he is behind only his brother, currently at the non-strikers end, who leads with 12 wickets and has an economy in the ballpark of 4. Amir Hamza, meanwhile, best economy among bowlers with at least 3 innings under their belts in the tournament so far. Strength on strength here as the table toppers look to finish this first over. That one struck pad. May have been going down leg, and so that will end the over. Mentioned before, the economy for Amir Hamza Hotak, 3.60. Well, he gives up just 3 in over number 1, 3 for no loss. Changes abound in the two teams compared to how they suited up 3 weeks ago today, the last time the Chandrabotapati Super League was in session. It's easier to just tell you who's actually back in the team, I think, for a lot of these. For Strikers NextGen, Kamran Hotak, Amog Adepali, the 2 promising young bats, Vivan Jogtiani and Vidit Quatra, Pranil Venna, Naman Patil, and Ramesh Basnet. Into the team, Rohit Natwar Sagar and Shrihas. For Afghan Zwanan, Sadeep Ganesh, Suleiman Arabzai, Hizbullah Durrani, Abhishek Paradkar, Amir Hamza, Nawaz Khan, Sabrish Prasad, all of the minor league players back in the team. Esa Kunari, Ryan Ketekar, Advait Dumal Rao, and Aryaman Suri into the side for today's match. And it's going to be Abhishek Paradkar, the regular season wicket-taking leader in minor league cricket last year for the East Bay Blazers, steaming in with that left arm pace. Although not just yet. Looking at the options available to Captain Amir Hamza for Afghan Zwanan. They do have a pair of off spinners in Sabrish and Aryaman. Paradkar the only lefty pacer. Amir Hamza the only lefty spinner. Righty pace though, Kunari, Nawaz, and Ketekar. First delivery in that corridor of uncertainty. The left-handed bat of Kamran Hotak leaves it be. Dot ball. Extra ball was on the field here at a very fine third man. Appreciation for Sagar Takar for getting that one out of the way. By the way, it's Rohit Ramkumar, Natwar Agrawal, the new entries into Strikers NextGen. Kamran steers that one square of the wicket, and he'll take a single. For this team, a number of lefty bats available. Kamran, as well as Jagtiani and Naman. From the right side, Adipali, Quatra, Ramkumar, and Basnet among the recognized batsmen. Amok Adipali opened to great effect throughout the minor league season last summer. Among the many players I'm thrilled to get a look at with, another 9 months, 10 months worth of seasoning. Paradkar steaming in, first delivery from him over the wicket to the righty, fended off by Adipali. Deep protection right now with the right-handed Adipali is at backward point, as well as backward square leg. Get a sense of what they expect he might do in the event that he takes on Paradkar. Slip in place as well. That's Sabrish Prasad, just to the right of the wicketkeeper, Sadeep Ganesh. And Ganesh, an absolute wizard with the gloves, much like the man with the bat in his hand right now as well, for that matter, Amok Adipali. That one climbing a bit on Adipali. He doesn't get a feather to it. Lucky he didn't. Thuds into the gloves. We mentioned it in the beginning here. The Strikers NextGen have improved every step of the way in terms of the results they have gotten this season. Started off with a loss to the Afghan Zwanan by 29 runs. But since then, a tie, a win by 4 runs, and a resounding win over the now eliminated Santa Clara Aces by 47. Looking to build off of that, but finding it slow going at the moment as that one just about cuts Adipali in half. Still stuck on the schneid through 5 deliveries faced. The name of the game for Zwanan has been economy. Only 2 of their 10 bowlers have an economy over 7 this season. already told you about Ahmed Hamza. That one climbs again. Did it get a piece? No, it did not. Amogarapali survives that over. But it's just one from it. 4 for no loss through 2. For no loss. Ahmed Hamza is going to continue from Atul's end. This was a wicket that the eponymous Atul himself told us was likely to favor bowlers today. It did not pan out that way in game 1. That one's in the air, and we've got some favoring here of bowlers as that is ladled to the man at mid-wicket. Catch taken by Abhishek Paradkar, unable to strike with ball in hand, though he was close on a few occasions. But he takes out Kamran Hotak. One brother dismisses the other. 4 for 1. Four for 1, first blood drawn by Afghan Zwanan. Comes through Ahmed Hamza Hotak. His 9th wicket of the tournament. He trails only his brother, the man he just dismissed, Kamran Hotak, who departs with 3 runs off 7 deliveries. He'll be replaced by Rohit Ramkumar in at 3. Ramkumar, 26 runs in 2 innings in the tournament, a 19 and a 7. Been going at a strike rate of 118, so a little quicker than either of the openers. Both Kamran and Amogarapali sitting at 46 and 45 runs respectively, and strike rates right at about 98. Ahmed Hamza wants to have 2 in 2. Judgment of Sundaram Subramanian appears to be that that one was going down leg. Ahmed Hamza giving him a long look. I don't know that that's the way to curry favor with Sundaram Subramanian. But Ahmed Hamza denied the opportunity to be on a hat trick as he pounds the pads of Rohit Ramkumar. First ball. Might have him again this time. And this time the finger has gone up. Rohit Ramkumar will have to walk. It's a 2-ball duck. Spent his entire time up there at the crease, short though it was, in danger and probably a little deafened. First LBW we've seen in today's action. And Ahmed Hamza is trying to see how quickly he can catch up with his brother at this point, because he's now up to 10, second bowler in double figures, and they're both from the same family. So Ramkumar departs, 42-year-old. Played a bit in the early editions of minor league cricket, but a fixture here in the Bay. It's going to be Vidit Quatra, as that pair's average age suddenly plummets. A pair of exciting, actually my mistake, 5 is not Vidit Quatra, I'm sorry. Vidit Quatra is 8. 5 is Vivan Jagtiani. That's who we were looking for. The thing I said about the age plummeting still applies. Vivan Jagtiani, very exciting young player, has really come into his own here in the last handful of games of this tournament. He was second in scoring coming into action today, just 6 behind Santa Clara Aces Vijayaram Nandula. Of course, Nandula is now 99 ahead of Vivan, and for that matter, he has had Shiva Mishra shoot by him. With the 64 runs earlier today, but Jagtiani comes into action with 113 runs to his name. Lets that one go by out of the hand of Ahmed Hamza Hotak. Before today, he was one of only 2 non-Zwanan to get to a 50, a 58 off 46 in that big win over the Aces. Also bowls a little bit of off break. Right now looking to get his eye in, but when I had a chance to talk to Kamran Hotak about him, it's about as effusive as I've seen Kamran. Talking about the kind of shots this young man throws out, especially when taking it to the offside. Hope to get a look at a little bit of that, but he's going to deal with 3 dot balls first. Through 3 overs, 4 for the loss of 2. Abhishek Paradkar will stay on for a second over from the Taarika end. Officially has gone down with a maiden in that first over, so I gather that indeed that was a leg by that he conceded to Kamran Hotak. Otherwise, 5 dots. Double wicket maiden for Ahmed Hamza. Only 4 runs so far. The leg by from off Paradkar, and a 2 and a 1 off the bat of Kamran Hotak, off his brother, who of course had the last laugh. Although the day is young here, just 3 overs into the encounter. Abhishek Paradkar over the wicket, tempting Amog Arapali. Still yet to concede a run. Ahmed Hamza 2 for 3 right now, his figures. Through 2 overs, Abhishek Paradkar, 7 balls yet to concede a run off the bat. The long run up over the wicket. That one climbs up on Arapali, but he's going to hook that to a safe location back behind square inside the circle. Nobody there is in fact where the deep protection is, and that'll be a pair of runs. It takes 8 balls, but Arapali off the mark at last. Zwanan continuing with their deep protection just behind square on either side of the wicket. Two inside the circle on the offside. Otherwise pretty loaded up, and a short third man. As well as, might call it a fly slip, in the person of Suleiman Arabzai. Back to regular administration. Another dot delivery here from Paradkar. As we said, today's match is going to put one of these two teams into the grand final of this tournament. They won't necessarily be guaranteed of topping the table. If it is the strikers that end up winning, Zwanan would be. Adapali trying to run that one backwards of point and take a quick single. Forced to turn back though. Paradkar just hitting that tough length, has that ball coming up not quite at armpit height, but uncomfortable height and a teasing line. A lot of these teams have a little bit of flavor from one or more of the minor league sides in the state of California. We talked earlier today about the Gladiators having a handful of San Diego Surf Riders among their ranks. Or rather, that was the Aces that had that. A lot of Blazers in Afghan Zwanan. That'll be a single pushed just in front of mid-off. Unsurprisingly, Strikers Cricket Academy NextGen 11. A lot of strikers. One final ball in this over, and it's going to be faced by the left-hander Vivan. As we told you, Zwanan have really hung their hat on their economy, as we've got, again, a very narrow, perhaps you'd call him, nope, now he's going to be an actual slip. Mohamed Kunari coming into place. Bit of a honest-to-goodness cordon here for Abhishek Paradkar. Well done by Vivan to keep that one in front and keep the slips out of play. It's a dot to finish, 3 from the over. Strikers NextGen 7 for 2 through 4. Four overs gone, strikers stuck in the mud at the moment. The dueling southpaws, Ahmed Hamza's spin from Atul's end and Abhishek Paradkar's lightning from the Taarika end, thus far, have kept them in check. Paradkar's given up 3 runs, Kamran's given up 3 runs, Kamran's taken both wickets. A single extra. Today's match, for all intents and purposes, a qualifier in this tournament. If you think about the terminology of most of the tournaments around the world, it's a match where one of these teams is going to the final, but the other one is not quite dead yet and gets a chance to earn their way in next week. Zwanan have lost just once. It was to the Aces, and they very nearly pulled the rabbit out of the hat in that one. Ahmed Hamza coming round the wicket to the right-handed Adipali. Sadeep Ganesh whips the bails off, trying for a stumping, no such luck. Adipali stays rooted. Righty-lefty combination right now, as it has been for all but the 2 balls that Ramkumar was out there. Deep protection all on the on side against Adipali, taking on the arm of Mohamed Kunari as he throws a bullet to the wicketkeeper's end. No dice though, it'll be a single. breaks a string of 9 consecutive scoreless deliveries out of the left hand of Ahmed Hamza. Looking every bit the tournament leader in economy. This one tapped to the offside, and they'll again look to get out quickly and take the single of Ivan Jagtiani with his first run of the innings. They go back again with with Adapali batting. Protection is at deep square leg and a wideish long on. Adapali goes to the offside. That's where the fielders in the circle are gathered. 4 of them, in fact. Good, decisive running quickly out of the blocks. Another single taken. Jagtiani down the ground. First over pitched ball we've seen from Ahmed Hamza. That's going to be 2. It's Mohamed Essa Konari, the one who gets back to it. The string of scoreless deliveries was broken at 9. Since then, 4 straight scoring strokes. With the left-hander up, your deep man is at square leg as Jagtiani lofts this one where there is no one, and that is going to fall for 6 into the pavilion. That's our first good look at the kind of batting that Cameron Hotak told us about. Picked up the length on that one perfectly and just launched it. He talked to us a lot about shots to the offside. That one, on the other hand, to cow corner, and decisively so. First boundary of the encounter, and it's a maximum. 18 for 2 through 5. It'll be our first look at Nawaz Khan. He enters the fray. He's taken 1 wicket so far in just 5 overs of work. He's conceded 33 runs in those 5 overs for an economy of 6.60. As we mentioned, only 2 of the 10 bowlers used so far have put up economies over 7, or at least 2 of the top 10, I should say, 2 of the top 10 wicket takers. We do have Ryan Ketekar in, who has had a rough go of it in the 1 over that he's bowled. For those that have had enough to really have an economy and an average and all those things, almost all of them keeping it very tight. First delivery from Nawaz Khan, batted to the offside. It's been a bit of a refrain so far, as we have this first change in the bowling. It's going to come over the wicket to the left-hander. Sadeep Ganesh giving indications he's going to move Suleiman Adabzai to fine leg. Short position, try and get rid of some of the invention. Same thing with third man in the form of Mohamed Essa Konari. Deep protection back of the rope. Is it backwards square? Jagtiani on his tiptoes, trying to ride the bounce of that one from Nawaz Khan to no avail. And we are back to the deep backward square and deep backward point here in the final over of the power play. Looking for perhaps a flick deep to the offside, or maybe to tempt him into a pull length there from Nawaz Khan. Jagtiani lets that go and will fight another day. Wind picking up here. Blowing right to left across your screen. Certainly something to think about if you can tempt Jagtiani into taking on that wind. He's going to try to, but it's no, it's not going to be in the air. It's rolling along the turf. It'll be a quick single. Vivan 10 off the first 10 he's faced. Of course, 6 of those coming in one big rip off of Ahmed Hamza Hotak, who you would imagine is probably done for the foreseeable future. Would expect he would save one of his overs for near the end. Came in very handy just a couple of games ago when it nearly allowed them to stay undefeated against Santa Clara Aces. He and Abhishek Paradkar bowled a couple at the very, very tail end of the game and turned 9 off 22 into a dicey proposition. Two deliveries left here in the power play. Here's the first of them. Adapali trying to get inside the line of that one and shoot it to the offside. Picks out the fielder though. Current run rate gives you a projected score right now of 69. First meeting between these two teams was a far cry from that, I'll just say. Last delivery of the power play struck firmly and wide enough of mid-off to allow them to scamper the single. So that'll be a single to finish it, 3 from the over. And they go at just 3.5 runs per over throughout the power play. 2 wickets down, it's 21 for 2 as the fielding restrictions release. Time for off spin from Atul's end. We've seen the lefty spinner captain Amir Hamza for the first 3 overs. Sabrish Prasad into the attack. Sabrish, the 3rd leading wicket taker alongside Abdullah Adil, with 3 in the tournament so far. He's taking them at 22.3 per. Once every 26 deliveries, he's got an economy just a shade over 5. As we mentioned, this entire Zwanan team has been keeping it tight. Righty-lefty combo still out there in the form of Adapali and Vivan. Adapali has not really seen the pressure release just yet. Looking for it here as he moves and swivels the hips. That will just be a single though, as the deep man comes over from sweeper cover. Throw is a little off line, but everybody's going to stay put right where they are. A single off the first from Sabrish. Zwanan in the first over without the fielding restrictions has put all their deep protection, save for one, out in front of the youngster Vivan Jagtiani. There is a backward square, but otherwise it's mid-wicket, long on, long off, sweeper cover. 3 on the offside, inside the circle, absolutely no one in the onside. There's an overthrow coming from a man at point. Looking to keep that whip here is somebody. She's, of course, got the ball turning away from the left-hander. And he'll continue to deal with the left-hander as the overthrow allows him to move up. Slip now in place. Along with third man, point, and extra cover. Jektiani able to defend his stumps. Sabarish looking to bring them into the discussion. Little flatter and quicker out of the hand of Prasad. That'll be dumped into that large vacant region on the onside. The field at the moment has 3 deep fielders on the onside and no one inside the circle. We'll see if they do the comparable thing here with Amogarapalli. It doesn't look like it. They do move a fielder to backward square on the opposite side, but now they've got still have the man at mid-on in place. Adapalli sprays that one between the 2 fielders on the offside. That's going to be another single, and my goodness, the throwing leaving a bit to be desired the last couple of balls here, ever since the fielding restrictions were released. Seen one of them airmail Sabarish Prasad, another one that has just now forced a lunging grab from Saidip Ganesh to avoid giving up more runs. 5 so far off 5 balls of Sabarish Prasad's first over. Round the wicket to the left-hander. And a dot to finish. That'll do it for over number 7, first of the non-power play overs. 26 for 2. Nawaz Khan continues from the Taarika end. 3 off of his first. He'll be coming over the wicket to the right-hander, Amogarapalli. Continues to strike it just barely, actually not even quite at 50 right now. He has survived to this point, which is more than you could say of Kamran Hotak. Had a ball from his brother leap up on him and pulled it straight to a fielder inside the circle. Always the danger if you don't quite get on top of it. Adapalli cuts loose the hands. That one's in the air, but will be to the deep man on a hop at mid-wicket. Ten off 20 so far for Amogarapalli. Has not really had joy against any particular bowler to this point. The lefty Vivan, on the other hand, so far has enjoyed his work against Ahmed Hamza. Still looking to produce a little something here. Bit of a wild swing on that wide-ish delivery from Nawaz Khan. Saw a little bit of the potential invention there. I think trying to get down and fire that one along the carpet, perhaps looking for that gap wide of third. Instead loses it back completely. Breeze picking up, and again, Jektiani, if he tries to go to the onside, would be taking on that breeze. 2 deep men out there, mid-wicket and backward square. Instead, it's a swing and a miss into the gloves of Saidip Ganesh. Jagtiani. You have one man inside the circle on the onside. Dropped into a little bit of space in front of Ahmed Hamza. A single for Vivan. This is, I think, what Atul said we were going to see today, was something more along these lines when it came to the success that batters might have. What might be in it for the bowlers, a relatively freshly laid square. That one's fired back over the head of Nawaz Khan, but mid off to it quickly. Jagtiani scampers back, and Adapalli continues to suffer and grind out his work. Final ball in the 8th over upcoming. That one is a nice checked on drive, long run for the man at the boundary rope. He will get there and keep it from crossing. Adapalli denied his first boundary. But it will be a pair of runs to finish off the over, and through 8. Strikers NextGen 30 for 2. As we enjoy action here in the Northern California Cricket Association, one eye, as always, for those of us that are lovers of American cricket and builders of American cricket on, well, American cricket. USA in action in King City, Ontario against Canada. They are chasing a target of 232 as Canada had a late surge with their lower order to push that target a little further out than it looked like it was going to be with about 3 overs left. USA at the moment halfway through over number 10, 42 for 1. Shahan Jayasuriya out there in the middle with Monank Patel at the moment. Back here in Morgan Hill, Sarif Prasad stays on from Atul's end. Jagtiani looking for the switch hit. On the first ball, Prasad from around the wicket to the left-hander. Looking for some of the turn Bagela had. Instead, that is going to be rifled in the direction of mid-wicket. Protection out there, though, just a single for Jagtiani. Afghan Zwanan, by and large, taking most of their wickets this season through the work of spin bowlers, and it's been the same so far today. Ahmed Hamza, number 9 and number 10 in the tournament. Right-handed bat, 3 deep men on the onside. Adapalli tries to go to the offside, and that's going to hang in the air and be taken by the man at point. And so Adapalli's suffering at the crease comes to an end. 12 from 23. It was a tough slog to get much of anything going. He does not hit a boundary in his innings. And he's got to go. Saw there the angle produced by Sabarish Prasad, and of course a bit of drift as well with his strong wind pushing right to left. It certainly means that Adapalli's not going to be all that interested in trying to attack the onside through the air. And Prasad's keeping it away from him. He thought he could get enough of a punch to that, but he picks out the fielder with a hard hit ball. And wicket number 3 falls. The 27-run partnership between Adapalli and Jagtiani comes to an end. 31 for 3. credit Ryan Ketakar with the catch to dismiss Amog Adepalli, second of the openers. Both openers and Rohit Ramkumar in the shed. And so far, SCA NextGen stuck in the mud, trying to make sense of things. The man in at 5 is Vidit Quatra, and these two batters here last time out, as that one crawls up, may have gotten some glove, may have just been too high. Either way, it's going to go down as a dot. Nothing more dramatic than that. But these two between them scored 100 runs out of the 173 in a Strikers NextGen's win over the Aces back on May 16th. And in fact, their partnership specifically went for a whopping 67 runs when Quatra came to the crease following the dismissal of the second of the openers. Single to finish off the over there. Quatra is on the board. 1 from 3 for him, 32 for 3 through 9. Be a change of bowlers at the Taarika end. Nawaz Khan has bowled his 2 at that end, giving up just 7 runs. He'll give way to Mohammad Issa Kunari, number 10 on his back. Kunari on the season, 2 wickets taken. Does have one of the higher economies, and he was the one who could not quite finish off the job against the Santa Clara Aces. After Amir Hamza and Abhishek Paradkar had tried to pull it back. I'll remind you, the one game that the Zwanan lost looked like it was a lost cause entirely. The Aces needed 9 off the last 22, I believe it was, or maybe 21. And it was Imran Mohammadi, last few balls after he got a dismissal. First delivery tapped right back to Issa. Dot ball. Imran Mohammadi, a couple of dot deliveries following a wicket, and then the very tight bowling of Amir Hamza and Abhishek Paradkar. We can picture it. We saw it in the first 4 overs today. Pulled things back and gave Kunari 6 to defend, and he took that down to the penultimate ball before conceding the winning runs as that one crawls up near the splice of Quatra's bat. Nothing to be done about that. For that result, Zwanan would already have their spot locked up in the final. The chance to get it done here today. As that one's worked to the offside, Quatra will take a quick single. I think we're just getting a good look at the quality of bowling of this Afghan Zwanan side, because we saw earlier today, it's not the pitch. Pitch coughed up 160 to the Santa Clara Aces, and then would have coughed up plenty more than that if we'd had the last 25 deliveries in the chase even be necessary. A bouncer there, that's going to be hooked just behind square leg. 2 deep men out there, they converge and take care of it. Just the single. It just continues to be tough sledding here to try to get much of anything going. Just a single boundary in the innings, that off the bat of Ivan Jagtiani. saw from Ahmed Hamza Hotak. Besides that, a handful of twos, decent number of ones, and a whole bunch of dots. Even more importantly, compared to what we saw earlier this morning, just one extra and it's a leg by. Did that one take a touch? No, it did not. Saidi Ganesh not interested, but it's a dot ball to finish, just two off of Mohamed Isa Kunari's first over of work. Vivan's on 16, Adapali in the shed on 12, Quatra 2 from 8. Strikers NextGen have posted 34 through the first half of their innings for the loss of 3. Windy day in Morgan Hill, not an uncommon sentence. 60 balls down, 60 to go. And even for this squad with its rock bottom economy throughout, going at 3.4 runs per over is quite something. Sabrish Prasad and his off spin continues from Atul's end. And look out here, Vivan Jagtiani has hit the deck looking to make the turn. Luckily, seems to be no worse for the wear, but does deny them a potential second run. Throw was down to the wicketkeeper's end, but nothing doing. Still to come in the batting order for Strikers Cricket Academy NextGen, as that one is hooked away. It's going to be a long run at fine leg. They will get there. And it's going to be a pair. Jagtiani continues to run a little gingerly. 3 from the first 2 after the turn. Still left, you've got Srihas Krishna, Natwar Agarwal, Naman Patel, Sagar Takar. Crucially at this point, not much in the way of anyone with significant run scoring so far. That, however, looks to be just the second shot to reach the rope today. And the first one off the bat of Vidit Quatra. Much needed 4, and they're getting a little bit of success against Sabrish Prasad. A breeze like this, especially with an off spinner that likes to flight it, you kind of can go two ways here. It might knock him off of his desired game plan, or it might make it dance in completely unpredictable ways that bamboozle the batter. Right now it seems to be the former. I'll take the single here as Hizbullah Durrani, known as a bit of a maniac out in the field for the East Bay Blazers, shows you a little bit of that racing in from the boundary. To limit that to just 1. That'll bring Vivan on strike. Another flighted ball, able to get on top of it and pound it into the ground. That's back behind square, and that'll be into a vacant enough area to let them take 2. To this point, the tallest tower on the Manhattan was the 11 put up against Ahmed Hamza in his final over of work in the power play. That highlighted by the 6 off the bat of Jagtiani. 10 so far off of this Sabrish Prasad over. Let's see if they can make it a new high. Continue to work their way towards a defensible total. You never know in this league. Strikers have already made a 2-digit score stand up for a win. They did that against a team that just scored 161 runs in just 17 overs. That one is taken very, very fine and is going to beat the man at fine leg in the circle. And that is indeed the most productive over so far. It's 14 from it in over number 11. Starting to get a little bit of a foothold. Our strikers NextGen, 48 for 3. Isa Kunari stays on from the Taarika end. So far we've seen 3 overs used of Amir Hamza, 3 overs used of Sabrish Prasad. This will be the second of Isa. We've seen 2 each from Nawaz Khan and from Abhishek Parakar. They do also have Ryan Ketakar's right arm pace and Arya Mansuri's off spin if they should choose to use it. At this point have to be feeling pretty good with everything that they've gotten so far out of their top liners. First delivery from Isa, run back to third man. Doing well to get inside that ball and show the face of the bat is Vidit Quatra. Another single as both he and Vivan Jagtiani sitting in that run-a-ball range, which is a far cry from what we've seen from the other batters. The dismissed men, Kamran struck at 43. That one is lifted over the offside. What a hit from Jagtiani, and that is a bit of what Kamran Hotak was telling us about. His ability to just get onto the tiptoes and lift a ball like that over the top of the men inside the circle. That was absolutely lovely on the eye. The 50 up in some style here for Strikers Cricket Academy NextGen 11. Next vanguard they're paying attention to might be to get that projected score up into triple digits. A little bit shorter from Isa, and it rises on Jagtiani, but he's able to keep control of that shot. Plays it for a single. You start to see a little bit of the flair that led to that 58 off 46 against Santa Clara Cricket Club. Isa working quickly, a little fuller. It's going to be a quick single here. Throw coming from the man at point. Jagtiani's home. Another run onto the board for Quatra. The fun of a tournament like this is it's sort of the equivalent. If you're a Major League Cricket fan and then you watch minor league, you get to see the development of some of the players that may eventually be on that field. You get to see a Sanjay Krishnamurthy at 18 years old potentially. Well, here you're seeing maybe the future of the minor league sides. And Vivan, based on stats and based on what I'm seeing here, looks like somebody who might well be comfortable in that sort of role very, very soon. If there's anything that has been a guarantee for being a competitive squad in years past in that league, it has been having good production out of your under 19 and your under 21. That one's down the leg side. Jagtiani tried to get a feather to it. Guided to the fine leg boundary, but goes through without a touch. That'll be a wide. Isa will need to re-bowl. Very full. That one guided to a vacant area just in front of mid-on. And a single to finish the over. 9 runs from that. Continue to build. It's now 23 from the first 2 after the halfway point. 57 for 3. The man with no number is Mohamed Tahir Adil, one of the leading wicket takers for this Zwanan team. Comes in with 5 to his name and an economy of 5.60. First delivery here from the off spinner. Run back behind, and that'll be a dot ball to start. Understand bowling a steady diet of off spin right now with Jagtiani starting to express himself. That one is looking to split the fielders in the deep on the onside, but it will pick out the middle of them. Right-handed bat of Vidit Quatra. Unable to quite follow that one. Didn't make great contact. Rolls to Nawaz Khan. Now giving himself some room with the feet and scoops that over the top of a drawn-in fine leg. That was very nice. Sees that ball being bowled in the vicinity of his feet. Moves and gives himself a chance to access a very empty area of the field. For Quatra, his second 4. Jagtiani's also got 2 to go along with that maximum. Run rate starting to creep up. Projected score now would be a 98 going at this rate. Adjustments to the field. Fine leg is going a bit less fine, and all the way back to the rope, knowing that he's got that in the toolkit. That one's going to scoot its way around the bat of Vidit Quatra. Five from the first 5 in this first Tahir over. Goes short, and that one is ping-pong paddled right back over his shoulder. We'll see if it's got enough gas to reach the rope, and indeed it does. 2 boundaries in the over for Vidit Quatra, and this is starting to have the look of that partnership that defined the game and the win against Santa Clara Aces 3 weeks ago. 66 for 3 through 13. For the first time today, the strikers NextGen have got a projected score with 3 digits in it. They've brought the overall run rate up over 5 runs per over. And they'll face down Nawaz Khan, who returns to the attack in place of Isa Kunari from the Taarika end. The last couple of overs of off spin Patul's end have not gone well. Might be looking for that drift, followed by some purchase, kind of trying to go across the right-handed bat with the wind blowing from right to left. And then looking for it to nip back, but it has not gone as you might like. That one is in the air for a moment from Jagtiani. I think it did not quite carry to Taarika at mid-on. It'll be a single, but certainly for a moment looked like Jagtiani might have given up the ghost to the righty pacer after largely being shielded from the off-spin in the last couple of overs. It's the thing you like about a righty-lefty combination. It makes it hard to pick on one batter unless you can really stick them to the crease. Nawaz liked what he saw there, thought he was looking potentially at an LBW shout. It was indeed off of the body. It's a leg by. But not a leg by, or not a hit of the pad that carries any large-scale consequence with it. Just the third extra of the innings, as we mentioned. Absolute ton of them in our early game. If I recall correctly, somewhere on the order of 35 between the two teams, most of them wides. That one is shot on the ground. Nice diving stop to keep it on the infield, and it's a direct hit. Appeal from Afghan Zwanan. I don't believe that it's been given. No, it looks like we're gathering here to celebrate. Did not see the signal from the umpire, but that is going to be the end of the road for Vivan Jagtiani. The direct hit runs him out on a ball shot along the ground. Had all the makings of a 2 or maybe even a 4 when that came off the bat, but a great diving play by the man. Stationed over at extra cover. Got up, fired, and it's a direct hit that removes Vivan Jagtiani on 31. 31 from 31 deliveries. So the partnership ends there. 37 runs from it. Partnership that lasted 30 balls and added 36 runs. Again, it has gotten them to that projected score, a touch over 100, although that may take a hit now once things update here. Have now confirmed the runout effected by Sabrish Prasad. Third we've seen in today's action, first of this match. And it claims the man who's becoming the bigger and bigger fish. So as we said, with that, the 36 from 30 partnership at an end, and it's Naman Patil in at 6. First delivery, though, after the wicket, of course, faced by Vidit Quatra, since the runout was affected at the non-striker's end. So now we will see the left-handed bat of Naman Patel. 2 balls left here in over number 14. Soft hands from Patel. He'll get himself quickly off the mark, dropping a ball into the vacant area in the covers. So it remains a lefty-righty combination. push to the offside and another diving stop, this time by Hizbullah Durrani. He's going to keep that on the infield, and it looks like they've learned their lesson. Vidit Quatra stays put. That's a dot to end the over. 4 runs from it. Big wicket, courtesy of Sabrish Prasad's direct hit, dismissing Vivan Jagtiani. 70 for 4 through 14. Tahir Adil will continue from Atul's end. Rather flat off spinner. They look to take the quick run here, and again a jumping throw, threatening another direct hit. I think that might have been Durrani again. That is absolutely the kind of moves we expect out of Hizbullah Durrani. Single worked off the first ball here by Naman Patel. Naman, I was told when he came up as the youngest player in minor league cricket with the Strikers, built like an absolute bull. Gives you some lefty power and some pace with the ball later on, as that one is run down for a single, and a call coming from the bench. We think that ought to have been a pair. Not often running quite at the speed they would have liked to see. Patel will dig in against Tahir. Loads up. Gets this one high in the air. It is a long run, but a catch taken after making the ground here by Suleiman Arabzai. And Naman Patel's got to go. 2 from 3 for the big man. And it's now 72 for 5. Arabzai came in. He was stationed back at the rope. That ball hung in the air for a while, but he made that catch very nearly at the 30-yard circle. Had to make a ton of ground to get to that ball. But he gets the job done. Tahir has got his 6th wicket of the competition. And it's going to be Ramesh Basnet into the encounter now. And in at 7. The innings so far here as we approach the death overs started very economical. Combination of Amir Hamza Hotak and Abhishek Paradkar responsible for those first 5 overs that were so incredibly stingy. The off spinner Tahir again, he's gotten his man, taking out the left-handed bat of Naman Patel. First delivery to the righty, Ramesh Basnet. Under edge. Goes back behind. No run there. Flat one that jumps off the surface. Another dot delivery. Started with that immediate pressure which gave when Amir Hamza took 2 in 3, dismissing his brother. Then Rohit Ramkumar. That one, though, is a heck of a shot. Lifted over the men on the inner circle on the offside. There were 3 of them and no one to back them up near the boundary. So that'll get Basnet off the mark here with a 4. That'll bring an end to the Tahir over. 5 overs to go. 3/4 of the way there. 76 for 5. starting to recap the innings there. As we mentioned it just before the end of the power play, or rather, no, excuse me, not before the end of the power play. What am I saying? In over number 3, it actually was, came those 2 quick wickets of Hotak and Ramkumar. Amog Adapalli, it was a slog for him, 12 off 23 for the young wicketkeeper before he succumbed and was dismissed by Sabarish Prasad. Prasad at this point has had both a wicket taken bowled as well as one taken via runout. And that was what finally ended the longer partnership, 30 balls and 36 runs between Vidit and Vivan. Jagtiani's back in the shed with 31 off 31. Vidit continues to fight, and he's on strike here at the beginning of over number 16, taking on Abhishek Paradkar back into the attack. First delivery, a dot. Paradkar bowled just 2 up front, gave up 3 runs and a leg by, and seems to be threatening on almost every ball. Somebody who knows how to bowl that corridor of uncertainty, knows how to get you to chop on, knows how to take that edge. All of it on display last summer in minor league, and has had an opportunity with the Washington Freedom. Good use of the feet there by Vidit to spray that one to the right side, knocked down by Durrani. That'll keep it at just a single. Two right-handed bats here as Ramesh Basnet takes strike. All 4 of his runs coming courtesy of a delightful stroke. Leans back and runs that one off the blade. Quattro's got to get back quickly, as he was thinking about taking the quick single. Ramesh just not able to quite get enough purchase on that ball to guide it to safer pastures. Abhishek, one of the taller bowlers here. Somebody who can absolutely get that ball to rise up on you a little bit more than you're expecting off of a certain length. Change in the field as he's going to push fine leg back to the rope. Brings mid-wicket in and then bowls a bouncer. You imagine there, thinking maybe I can get him to do a little bit of compulsive hooking and pick out the man I've just plunked over at deep fine leg. Saideep Ganesh giving indications. Looks like that plan's off. Mid-wicket back to the boundary, and fine leg coming back into the circle. Rest of your deep men at backward square. Long on, long off. Or correction, not long off. This one is going to find safe pastures just in front of the deep man at backward point, which is in fact where the deep protection is. It's mid-off in the circle. It's got a backward point and sweeper cover back at the rope. Changes every ball. That single will put Vidit Quatra back on strike. A run of ball 23 for him. Paradkar just 5 runs conceded off 17 balls bowled. He has been as advertised so far. Off pace, full toss, and he blows up the stumps. Yorker length and absolutely gets Quatra way out in front of that one. Abhishek Paradkar's got his first. And that is going to claim one of the last recognized batsmen. Strikers NextGen, now 78 for the loss of 6. And what a ball that was to dismiss Quatra on 23 from 24. That is the joy of having that kind of pace, is that when you take that pace off, if you disguise it, it is absolutely lethal. Quattro was through the shot and maybe sitting down on a couch with a cup of tea as that thing cannoned into the stumps. Just a brilliant ball from Abhishek Paradkar. Afghan Zwanan would like to keep this at a canter. They saw what can be done on this pitch. It does stand to reason Strikers Cricket Academy may put up a bit more fight than either the Aces or the Gladiators did earlier today. But it is hard to know. Change of bowlers at Atul's end, and it's one we haven't seen up to this point. It's going to be Ryan Ketakar. And Natwar Agarwal into the crease at the non-striker's end, in at 8. For now, it'll be Ramesh Basnet facing up the first ball of the 17th from Ketakar. First delivery run backwards of point. Fielder quickly to it. No run there. Zwanan with 3 in the deep on the onside. Wide long on, mid-wicket, and backward square. Third man and fine leg both in the circle. Looking to take advantage of some of that. That's going to take one big hop on the fielder at backward point. No, excuse me, that was in the air the whole way. Rattled off his hands because it was absolutely hammered by Ramesh. And that'll go all the way for 6. A very flat, hard maximum. Ramesh at the moment with the best strike rate of anybody on his team, sitting at 138, 11 from 8. Vivan, the only other player to reach a run a ball and stay there. Vidit falls just short. Ketakar a little shorter. That one rises up to shoulder height. Good looking bouncer and a nice comeback from that delivery deposited over the rope. No changes in the field setting, but it is now Tahir Adil in the position of the player who dropped that one. Might have been Advait Dumal Rao. Trying to rise up and follow the bounce from that one from Ketakar, and unable to do so. Pace and that slight back of a length right now, giving Ramesh fits. He got on top of one of them and hooked it 4-6, although it very easily could have been out. Last 2 deliveries, just not able to get his bat up to them. That one is a little bit fuller. It's in the air, and unable to hold it is the man crossing over from mid-wicket. Another overthrow, but well backed up. That'll be a pair of runs. Ryan Ketakar would arguably say, I've just about gotten myself 2 wickets here in these last couple of deliveries. One of them ended up being 6, the other one ended up being 2. That one flirting with the tram line and over the tram line. The signal from Sundaram Subramanian. That ostensible final ball of the over will have to be re-bowled. 9 from Ryan's first. Strikers NextGen trying to cross that psychological barrier of 100. As we said, they have made 89 stand up for victory once this season. They don't want to have to do that to clinch that ticket to the final, though. This one on the ground. It's a long run for sweeper cover, but he will get there. Throw comes back into the wicketkeeper's end. And it's a pair of runs off the bat of Ramesh Basnet, who has dominated the strike in that over. Nathwar Agarwal still waiting to face his first delivery, but he'll be perfectly fine with that. 11 from the Ketakar over. 3 overs left, 89 for 6. Strikers NextGen this season, this tournament here, been bowled out for 96 once and lost. They've gone 121 for 6 and tied, 89 all out and 1, and then 179 for 3 in their last outing and cruised to victory. As we told you at the outset, they have improved their result and their margin every game so far this tournament. First delivery from Nawaz Khan, who will bowl his last from the Taarika end. That one is hooked and is going to get by the fielder. Guided just fine of the man at backwards square. So Nawaz Khan victimized for a first delivery 4. Welcome to the fray, Nathwar Agarwal. Nothing like a tasty little 400 strike rate. Hold on to it for as long as you can. Zwanan, meanwhile, their season with ball in hand, they've bowled out a team for 96. They've bowled out a team for 109. They've lost by 8 wickets, trying to defend 148, albeit stringing it out till the very, very end. And they bowled out a team for 115. So with only one exception, they've generally gotten all 10 wickets. They've only got 17 balls left to find the last 4 if they want. 109, 115, 96, generally holding teams a bit under that run-a-ball mark. That one may have hit pad. It's an attempted run out there as Saeed Ganesh fires for the stumps. It's going to go all the way to the outfield, and it'll end up going down as a leg by. So no harm, no foul to Nawaz Khan's figures. He certainly thought he had a decent shout for LBW. And Nathwar was wandering down the pitch a little bit absent-mindedly, and decent scoop and fire from Saeed Ganesh, just not able to hit the target with only one stump to fire at. That was not backed up, found its way into the outfield, and at the end of all of that, you write LB in your scorebook, and you move on. Full toss, and that is going to just get through the hands of the man at fine leg, Abhishek Paradkar. That's going to let them run 2. Afghan Zwanan looking for a little more focus here with 15 balls left in their field innings. Trying to restrict this total and give themselves something reasonably easily chaseable. Strikers NextGen, meanwhile, trying to break through to triple figures here, 96 for 6. That one is in the air. Camped under it is mid-wicket, and that will be taken. And so a 7th wicket falls. Nawaz Khan has got his first of the encounter. And it's going to be Ramesh Basnet, who has to go for 17 off 14 deliveries. 96 for 7 now, Strikers NextGen. The task gets that much harder here. Confirmation that it's Mohammad Isa Kundari taking that catch at mid-wicket. All that's left on the bench, Sagar Thakkar, Srihash Krishna, Pranil Venna, and Yusuf Zazai. And you might be saying to yourself, wait, 7 wickets down, how are there 4 people potentially left? Well, the reason for that is that we do have an impact sub-rule in here. Of course, you can't have all of them bat, but In all likelihood, one of those folks, I would guess probably Yusuf Zazai, is going to enter the team as a bowler at the innings break. That innings break is at most 14 balls away, but it could be quicker. Down into the bottom of the order, Sagar Takar in at 9, and he's quickly off the mark, running that ball down to third man for a single. The wind continues from this side at the very least. It is coming to the aid of the right-handed batters, targeting the onside boundary, blowing across from right to left from our camera angle. That one looking to cramp Agarwal for space. He's able to work it off, unable to get the clean pickup. And that will end the over. 9 runs from it, 8 off the bat. But the wicket of Ramesh Basnet. Strikers NextGen find themselves at 98 for 7 with 2 overs to go. Captain Ahmed Hamza Hotak bowled the first 3 overs from Atul's end. He will also bowl a final over from Atul's end. We would expect probably Abhishek Paradkar to bowl the 20th from the Taarika end. And that is going to make things difficult for Strikers NextGen to try to build a total. Just 3 wickets left in hand, 2 runs shy of the century mark. Ahmed Hamza already with 2 wickets in the encounter. Very, very economical until Vivan Jagtiani took him deep on the last delivery of his 3rd over. That one's going to spray off the edge of the bat. And it's a single on the first delivery here, off the bat of Natwar Agarwal. Takar on strike now for Strikers NextGen. 3 in the deep on the onside. That one gets a decent bit of purchase. Takar stabs the bat down and gets that to the offside, and that at least will provide a psychological lift. It's the 100 up for Strikers NextGen. Projected for a score of 109 right now. They'd certainly like a little more than that. Not quite time to cut loose just yet. A swing and a miss from Agarwal. I think he believed that was a wide and is trying to show the umpire where that crossed. The appeal ungranted. That's a full delivery, and boy, oh boy, did that have some English as it hit the pitch. My goodness. I don't know what had more turn, the actual delivery or Agarwal's hit. Ahmed Hamza seemed to have that one lined up, and it spun right through his legs. Took a remarkable little right turn. So a single here. Takar on strike, fending at one. It turns away from him. Ahmed Hamza has moved to 10 wickets in the competition, closing the gap on his brother Kamran. That one on the ground will be the final delivery of his spell now as Khan scoops it up in the covers. And it's 2 for 17 for Ahmed Hamza after his 4 overs are complete. Just 1 over remains. Strikers NextGen 101 for 7. be Abhishek Paradkar, as expected, to bowl the final over from the Taarika end, and to set down exactly what Afghan Zwanan will be chasing to try to ensure a place in the Super League final. Abhi entered play today with 2 wickets for 54 total runs. That economy might take a hit here. Nope, never mind. He has picked out the fielder that is blocked from my view by all the trees. And so instead, Abhishek Paradkar has got himself a second wicket of the day. Claimed one on the last delivery of his first over of work, and so he is, or his third over of work, I meant to say. And so Paradkar on a hat trick, as Yusuf Afzai Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Certainly would seem to have the wind at our backs and in our ears. We'll continue on with the assumption you can hear us and confirm as we go along. But the first over of the run chase in the books, and Strikers NextGen have struck after a 4 on the second delivery by Adi Mansouri. He is swiftly sent packing by Kamran Hotak, the tournament leader in wickets taken. And he gets Adiaman caught by Natwar Agarwal for just 4 off 4. His 13th wicket of the competition. And so that has got Strikers NextGen, at least at the start of this, feeling like they're in it. So Kamran Hotak with the first over bowled from Atul's end. It's going to be Yusuf Zazai. Welcome back here. A few little technical difficulties as we're trying to bring you the cricket today. Main thing to bring you is the news that Saidi Ganesh has been sent packing. 3 off of 7 deliveries faced. He goes down at 20 for 2, caught behind. Amo Adapali squeezing a ball, just feathered after coming in hot out of the hand of Yusuf Azai. So both of the opening bowlers have now got themselves a wicket. Both the opener and the number 3 are back in the shed. Saidi Ganesh forced to go. It'll be Hizbullah Durrani in at 4. And his job right out of the gate will be to face off with the Afghan righty quick. Zai, he came into play with 7 wickets to his name. Kamran had 12. They've both added 1 to that. Hizbullah Durrani, second leading scorer on this club in the tournament. He faces up. That first delivery is skewed off the edge. That might be a chance too! And Zazai's got 2 and 2! What a catch! Bit of a blow to the head as the fielder squeezed that. I believe it was Vidit Quatra who was backpedaling like a maniac. Durrani skewed that off the top edge, went back behind point. Quatra backpedaled and again got held up in this rather stiff wind we have. And unlike the situation with Nathwar, where he basically got tied into a pretzel, Quatra able to squeeze. Now he did hit his head rather hard on the ground. He's back up to his feet. This is how, as a bowling attack, you start turning things back in your favor. A pair of Zazai wickets, one of them mostly due to the work of Yusuf. That one at least 60 to 70% belonging to Vidit Quatra. He's now going to have Suleiman Arabzai paired up with Advait Dumal Rao. Hizbullah Durrani, we hardly knew ye. We're about to tell you about his 89 runs and him having one of the now 8 50s in this tournament, 3 of which happened today. In our early game, we saw Vijayaram Namdullah hit a new high score for the tournament as a whole on 93. And then it was Shiva Mishra and Sahil Garg putting on a show. Garg landing in the 70s, Mishra in the 60s, both of them their first half centuries of the tournament. In the case of Mishra, giving him at least a fighting chance of maybe taking home the orange cap. Yusuf Zazai on a hat trick. Second time we've said that today, but Akbar was on one. He ended up taking 3 and 4. Advait Rao has to deal with the hat trick ball from Yusuf Zazai. Around the wicket. Just barely misses off stump. Oh boy. That was bordering on the death rattle. The length was good. The height was right. Just barely wide of the woodwork. This is no doubt what you're looking for, knowing the kind of performance that Afghan Zwanan put in with ball in hand. If your striker's next gen, you needed a few wickets. Probably figured you needed at least 2 in the power play. You've got 3. There's still 2.5 overs left in it. Soft hands, and that's run back behind. Good diving stop from Ramesh Basnet. Zai has really gotten his length right in this second over. Gave up a pair of fours, bowled a leg side wide in his first over. Went for 13. So far here, wicket, wicket, dot, dot. Change that angle, coming around the wicket here to the lefty. Doing it with the right-hander as well. Little pace off. That one run to the covers. Another dot ball. Absolute heck of a comeback over here for Yusuf Zai. Can he give it the proper finish here? Switches to over the wicket for the final ball of the over. Trying to create that angle. That one is shot through the gap on the offside, so it will not end as pretty as it was the whole way. The double wicket maiden mussed up by a 4 on the final delivery. That's got Advait Umal Rao underway, and it's got Afghan Zwanan at 24 for the loss of 3 through 4. And we will take a moment here with the pause in the action between overs to cast our eyes over to King City, Ontario, where the United States of America need 64 runs off the last 85 balls to claim victory over the hosts Canada. If they can do that, they set themselves up with a real possibility of clinching a spot in the qualifier by the end of this tri-series with Canada and the Netherlands. If they could beat Canada a second time, they would only need 1 of the 4 games between US or Canada and Netherlands to go their way, and they would be in, having clinched that spot. The win today is going to clinch no worse than 5th for them, and they are guided at the moment by an 86 from Shahan Jayasuriya on 86 balls. Makes our Bay Area hearts smile. Round the wicket, Kamran Hotak stays on. His first delivery, almost a little too much turn. Suleiman Adabzai tempted. Doesn't end up with a touch on it. Hotak gave up a 4 on the second ball he bowled. Since then, he's taken 1 for 3 runs off the next 12 deliveries. Around the wicket to the lefty. It's a good bit of turn there, but Adabzai follows it and shoots it through a gap. 4 fielders inside the circle on the offside, and he's beaten all of them. That is a heck of a shot from Suleiman Adabzai. Second to last over of the power play now. Protection is presently at a rather wide long off. And a deep mid-wicket. Yusuf Zai. The first boundary coming, but that's hit on 12 deliveries. Let's see what he's got for a comeback as the wind continues to batter us. Outside the turf enough to take it up the outside part. Doesn't make good contact with it. I would imagine for these spinners, the drift has got to be something else with these kinds of conditions. Decides to flatten that one out, and slip is beaten. And it is flagged down by third man. It'll just be 1. Five so far from the over, with the lefty coming up on strike now. Kamran will go over the wicket. Picked up nicely, but it's going to pick out the man in the deep. Both of the deep protections are on the onside for that one. Wide long on and mid-wicket. It's mid-wicket. Fields that, gets it back in. It'll just be a single for the final ball of that over. 6 from it. 1 over left in the power play. Afghan Zwanan 30 for the loss of 3. Eustace's eye continues, and it'll be the two of them bowling out the entire power play from each end of the ground. First delivery to Advait. Run down to third man for a single. Zazai with a study in chiaroscuro at the moment, or grim bright if you like. First over. Went for runs, 13 of them, 2 boundaries and an extra. Second over was 1 ball away from a double wicket maiden before the 4 that ended it. All told, 2 for 18 off of 13 balls bowled so far. Not a bad contribution. Strikers need to be even tighter than that, though, going forward. That's a look at what is going to be required there. A good, tough length, asking questions of Sullivan out of sight. See there the run rate required, down under 5.2. Currently going at about 5.8. Strikers NextGen finished the power play in the first innings at 21 for 2. So Zwanan already 10 runs ahead of that, although they have lost that third wicket. Gives you pause. Cut shot, but it's going to kick out the man at backward point. Nice work by Sagar Tucker. Flag that down. We see Sagar along with a number of other players looking for some way to keep the hair from ending up in their face, given the strength of wind coming through here. Advait still on strike, 17 from 15. I think if you're strikers in 11, you kind of know that the only real path to winning this game is going to be to take a bunch of wickets. Quality is there for Afghan Zwanan. But if you leave somebody standing at the end, they'll probably get you across the line. There's Advait sprinting in off his own bowling. Flagged that ball down, had 2 friends coming over from the offside as well. 3 dots on the trot against Advait after Advait single to start the over. Wickets and a total now of 8 dot balls in the last 2 overs for Yusuf Zazai after that tough first one. Looking to keep Zwanan right here. That's a little pace off, that's in the air, and it's not quite squeezed. A diving attempt at cover. For a split second, I thought we were going to have a little bit of a circus catch over there. It'll be a single, a very rich one. Again, 3 on the offside. It was a diving attempt from, I believe, Srihas Krishna. We're trying to see the number on the back of the jersey. But he very nearly tapped it straight to Ramesh Basne. He dove for it, couldn't squeeze it, and it looked for a moment like it was going to be taken instead almost as a relay catch. Try and let you know who that was that very nearly had Sullivan Advait dismissed. Instead, Zazai will face off with the lefty Advait for the final ball of this over. have finally seen the bales pop off into the wind. Comes Azai, final ball of the power play. It's a bouncer, but it's a legal one. So a dot to finish, just 2 runs from that over. Yusuf Zazai now sitting with figures of 2 for 19, Hotak 1 for 13, and Afghan Zwanan finished the power play at 32 for 3. First bowling change for Strikers Cricket Academy NextGen 11. It's going to be Ivan Jagtiani taking the ball from Atul's end. So they continue to go with spin from this side, but it'll be off spin instead of a lefty spin. So we'll keep a close look out for the matchup, particularly between him and Advait. Batting for the first time in this competition. As for Jagtiani, 1 wicket for 23 runs and 6 overs of work. In his first delivery, batted back, and he does well to field off his own bowling. That's a dot to start. Fielding restrictions, of course, lifted here at the start of the 7th over. So deep protection all over the park. On the offside, it's at sweeper cover and long off. Mid-on, however, inside the circle, and this ball is going to be hit straight to him for a single. Kept 3rd man back, as well as mid-wicket and backward square, so it works out though. Mid-on in position. That ball not struck too hard. Now we see the righty-lefty split. Advait Rao will face off for the first time in this game with an offie. This is where you like the possibility of getting some drift in, followed by turn away. See if he tries to use his feet to get himself on the right side of things. No deep protection at all on the offside. It's all on the onside. Tries to go up and over. Batters on the outside, but unable to make contact. Dot delivery. Awful lot of coverage. I think he's in the deep period right now for Strikers NextGen. Trying to use the space on the offside and does well to beat the fielder fine. There is some deep coverage there at backward point. Good work to sweep around, keep that from reaching the boundary row. Nope, correction, that's what I thought I saw. I saw wrong. That's a 4. It does explain the applause. I thought it might have been for the effort of the fielder, but indeed it was for that getting to the rope and making good use of that space. They will now push back. Backward square. Looking for the comeback. Now this paddle sweep, and that is going to have all kinds of juice on it. And it beats Bosnets to the rope. Splitting the difference there between mid-wicket and backward square leg. 2 4s on the trot, and Advait Rao is having a fine time right now with the offie. The issue when you are trying to protect such a small total is that even 1 or 2 ugly overs really puts you behind the 8 ball. 9 from it so far. Final ball of the 7th. Rao puts this one in the air. Fielders converging. The two of them may have collided with one another as the two men on the onside look to get to that ball. I believe it has gone for 4 after hitting the ground, but the real cause for concern at the moment are the two players on the deck. One of those is Daniel Venna, who I believe was the man at long on rather. The other I haven't gotten a good look at yet was Khan strolling out to check on his players. He's blocking my view of the other one. It may have been Naman Patel. Based on what I thought I saw the jersey number and the size of it. He is seated and now back to his feet. Seemingly no worse for the wear. Pramil Venna and Naman Patel both back to their feet. They converged on a ball for a long time. Both of them selling out completely for it. Slightly unsighted foliage we have here on the boundary road. The moment of the collision has been quite see exactly the level of damage we're dealing with here, but both of them are up and moving. So that's certainly an encouraging thing. Strikers do have 12 that could potentially participate here. I do not know if they've got 13. May end up sitting them a man down for a little bit. Anyway, quite stopped here. The players are checked on Patel and looked at by his teammates. Wipe his face a few times. I don't know if there's any blood coming from there or anything like that. Doesn't seem like it. You see Pramil Venna going back out onto the field. Patel may take a little bit of time here to recuperate. As we mentioned, the Strikers NextGen 11 do in fact have a 12th player available. That could come in handy here. At any rate, as we said, result of the play. At the end of the day, there was a 4th consecutive 4 for Adbal Rao. Although the first one that really gave you concerns that he might give up his wicket cheaply. He's got 18 from 11. 7 overs gone. It's 45 for 3 for Afghan Zwanan. Now officially Pramil Venna back onto the pitch. It would appear ready to continue in this match. By the by, happy news coming from the Great White North. Shehan Jayasuriya has 100 today. And to our knowledge, that would appear to be his first 100 in ODIs and his first 100 for the United States of America. So congratulations to Shehan Jayasuriya. A big moment to do it. USA now need 26 off the last 49 balls. They have 8 wickets in hand and seem in good shape to get a leg up on their neighbors to the north. Close that magic number of qualification to the qualifier to just 6 points. Again, that is 6 points earned by them or lost by Canada for the remainder of Cricket World Cup League 2. So good stuff there. Happy news for one of our representative fellas here in the Bay Area. Just about ready for action again. It's going to be Sagar Takar to take the ball for Strikers Cricket Academy NextGen 11. bit of righty pace. He's taken 1 wicket and conceded 44 runs in 7 overs of work. First delivery is in the air and dropped. Good work by Kamran Hotak to close the distance, but unable to hold it at the moment of truth. Takar almost strikes for a wicket on the first ball of his innings. Instead, it'll be a pair of runs. Suleiman Arabzai remains alive for the time being. He has had 9 lives so far. We had the ball that very nearly hung up for Natwar Agarwal earlier. Second delivery from Takar. It's guided just wide of the bowler's pursuit. Another single claimed. That'll bring Advait Rao back on strike. Advait had 6 of the first 8 deliveries he faced, and has now posted 12 of the last 3. At 18 from 11. Changes in the field here. Got deep protection. Backward square leg. That's it for the onside. Quite a bit on the offside here, expecting him to try to make use of the wind, as he has so far. In this case, it would be going to the offside, though. Cut and a miss. Takar looked like he took a little something off of that one. Crowding the circle a bit here. They've got deep protection now at wide third man and at long off. Rao is going to pierce the gap on the offside, and sweeper cover is going to come over to grab that. That's where the other deep man is. Single and Arabzai back on strike. So full disclosure, there is a ton of foliage between me and the area where sweeper cover would be for a left-handed batter, so I am missing guys on that boundary every now and again. Sincere apologies. Third man moving out wide, that's Srihas Krishna. Otherwise, deep protection all on the onside. Against Suleiman Arabzai. 22 off 21 for him. He loops this one in the air, and that's going to fall down in front of the on-rushing mid-wicket fielder. Throw comes down to Takar's end. Another pair of runs, 6 so far from his first over. Going to close it out strong as the 50 is up. Partnership sitting at 30 from 27, you see there. Pretty equal contributions. We've seen a few very equal partnerships. We've also seen one that was very dominated by one batter, Vijayram Nandula and Diraj Shankar. Came up with 44 runs in rapid fire, but all but 6 of that came off the bat of Vijayram. That one is guided fine of the protection at backward square. And Nandula musses up the Sagar's figures. Direction Arabzai musses up Takar's figures with that 4 on the final delivery prior to bringing up the 50. Zwanan now 54 for 3, halfway to the total with 12 overs to go. following a rash of early wickets, Afghan Zwanan have steadied the ship. They were down 20 for 3, just barely more than halfway into the power play. They now find themselves at 54 for 3, chasing a target of 107. They've just reached the halfway point. Strikers Cricket Academy is going to need to try a little something new. It's going to be Pranil Venna taking the ball from Atul's end. So far, the first changes have not worked out great. Sagar Takar conceded 10 off of his first over from Taarika end. 13 came from Vivan Jagtiani's first over of off spin from Atul's end. So instead, it's going to be a bit of righty pace, courtesy of Pranil Venna. Good news all around. Naman Patel back on the field. Glad to see he seems to be in good working order. Wondering if we will eventually see his lefty pace in this encounter, or if that collision has potentially changed that calculus somewhat. But Venna over the wicket. That one flared off the edge of the bat authoritatively. Sagar Takar able to finally find the ball at the boundary rope. Briefly looked like he might lose it over the rope. Well, that'll go for 2. First ball from Venna. Pranil Venna, 2 wickets taken for a total of 81 runs in 8 overs of work. In the course of his 3 innings thus far in the comp. Partnership now 36 runs. Something that strikers NextGen cannot afford to have go on for too much longer. Then again over the wicket. A little bit shorter of a length. That one pops up to shoulder height. On back ball there for a dot. A little too much width on the first delivery. Allowed Advait to flash the hands at it. Ready and willing. Always love to do that comparison to the DLS par score to get a sense of where a team's at in their innings. Right now, Zwanan 13 runs ahead of DLS par. Another nice ball though here from Venna. So far it's 2 from his first 3 deliveries. Didn't quite get the wide ball out of the screws. As a result, just got the 2 from that. Last 2 have been tough for him to gauge. That one pops up out of the gloves of the wicketkeeper. For a brief moment, thought that might have meant there was a deflection. A little feathered edge, but nothing to it. It is 3 dots on the trot, though. To the strikers' problems at this point, a spell of pressure and a couple of victims. That one fended and not just past the outstretched hands of Amogadapalli to third man. Single here. So far a good over for Venna. Problem has been getting that last ball to close the door on an over. Ever since the fielding restrictions have released, the final ball of each over has gone for a boundary. Venna looking to break the developing trend here as he faces off with Suleiman Adamzai. Man at cow corner and it's backward square. And 3 on the offside for Adamzai. Rises to fend off that delivery. That'll be another single. So 4 from the over. Good tight stuff from Pranil Venna. Gonna need an awful lot more of that. We're gonna need a few scouts to get themselves into the final today. Afghan Zwanan 58 for 3 through 9. Another peek up at action from King City. USA 7 runs from victory now against Canada. Jahan Jayasuriya, it's now an unbeaten 108. Sai Mukamala, not for nothing, sitting on 77 not out off 83. Jahan now back on strike and could end it with a 6. Either way, though, USA are going to take a big step towards qualification to the last potential hurdle. It's a 10-team group. Will be formed out of the top 4 from the Cricket World Cup League 2, top 4 from the Challenger playoff, the number 9 and 10 ranked teams in ODIs. My goodness gracious, that one was cranked by Suleiman Arabzai. A rude greeting for Sagar Takar's first, or I should say second, over of work from the Taarika end. That one gets the treatment out to mid-wicket. Next delivery is way up in the air. Arabzai has got his heart in his mouth, but that's going to get just over the top of Kamran Hotak. Almost the same spot, but a very different trajectory. Certainly looked for a moment like that one might stay within the rope. Instead, it is back-to-back maximums. Zwanan now just about at the point of being able to have a canter. Takar started out pretty tight. 6 runs off the first 4 deliveries he bowled, but it's now 4, 6, and 6 on his last 3. Looking for the comeback. It's a little better of a length. Arabzai does well to adjust. Opens the face, gets a single, and will give Advait a little taste of the strike. Suleiman into the 40s. Already seen 3 50-plus scores today. Before Sahil Garg and Shivam Mishra in a winning effort for AI Gladiators. Of course, before that, Vijayaram Nandula, highest score of the season for an individual batter, at 93, to build a total that looked pretty imposing and then turned out to be anything but. From the first 3, now a dot to Rao as he puts that one right at the knees of the lefty batter. By the way, that second 6, the one that hung up in the air forever, brings up the 50 partnership, 51 runs now, in a span of just over 6 overs. That one's way up in the air as well. Long on is drifting and is going to watch it fly away. Advait Rao wants into the party. And it is officially a huge over, 19 from 5, and 1 more left to bowl for Sagar Takar, who's got to be wondering, what's the answer here with these two? I had it an over ago. Right now, put your field anywhere you like. They're just clearing it. Sundaram, umpire currently behind the stumps. Gets the ball back to Sagar. He's going to switch his angle, come around the wicket now to the lefty. That one doesn't quite stay within the tram lines, and it's a wide to go along with it. 20 now from the over. I said beforehand, the issue with such a small total such a small target is that it doesn't take too many overs like this to pretty much end all hope. And we are just about at that point here. 29 required off 62. A cut and a miss from Advait Rao, and that'll bring a rough over to an end. 3 maximums and 20 runs from it. Afghan Zwanan 78 for 3. Well, it's now or never for strikers NextGen. Just 29 runs left to get for Afghan Zwanan and half the innings left to get it. So Kamran Hotak's going to put his own hand up and bowl that 4th over of his spell a heck of a lot earlier than I think he would like to. Three overs of work, he's conceded 13 runs and taken the 1 early wicket. But since those 3 early dismissals, Arya Mansouri 4 balls into the encounter, and then Ganesh and Hizbullah Durrani dismissed by Yusuf Zazai at the start of over number 4. Since then, no inroads whatsoever, and it's been a 58-run partnership, taking Zwanan most of the way to that target. Hotak doing what Hotak does. 3 dots on the trot. That one fended out and missed.
I eat some plums there, it's okay?
Coming around the wicket to the right-handed Suleiman Adamzai. Looking for a little turn, doesn't get much. Adamzai puts that one on the ground back behind point. Nice diving play there by Ramesh Basnet. The fact of the matter is here, Kamran knows how to be economical, but if he doesn't strike, you consider it a big victory as a Zwanan supporter. Oh, and he struck! What a catch! Takes the edge, and a leaping grab by the slip. The partnership is broken at 58 runs, and it was something special. Absolutely airborne there to take out Suleiman Adamzai, and it's Vidit Quatra who has quietly had himself a phenomenal game. Given the sorts of innings we've seen today, that's 23 off 24 that he put up in the first innings with the bat. Not too shabby. But he's taken 2 phenomenal catches. One of them just swerving and dealing with a ball caught up in the wind to dismiss Hizbullah Durrani for that golden duck earlier. And then a leaping, skying grab, full extension to his right at slip to claim that edge. Wow. So with that, Suleiman Adamzai's got to go for 41 off 32. Kamran has his second, so he's equaled the output from his brother Amir Hamza. And will maintain at the very least a lead as big as the one he had before the day started. He's got 1 ball here to try to extend it, and it'll be against Tahir Adil. He survives it, but it's a wicket maiden, which is precisely what you would be hoping for when you put your hand up and bowl your final over of the spell. at a time like this. He finishes with figures of 2 for 13. Still a mountain to climb for strikers NextGen. But that journey starts with one step. And a pretty decent one there from Kamran Hotak in the 11th. Naman Patil comes in to the attack from the Taarika end. So far that end has been the exclusive domain of Yusuf Azai and Sagar Takar. By the way, it's all over in King City. USA win by 8 wickets with 31 balls remaining. Shahan Jayasurya finishes 113 not out off 111. His first ever ODI century. Pulls the USA that much closer to that next step in qualification, that 10-team group, of which the top 4 will be going to the Cricket World Cup in 2027. Naman's got ideas about where he wants his field, that's for sure. He's now bringing in third man in the person of Vidit Quatra. Sort of catches that kid's taken today. I'd be very thoughtful about where you put him. And I would do whatever I could to get your opponent to hit it right to him. Or, you know, anywhere in his radius of influence. Third man is up in the circle. Fine leg is back. First delivery comes right back to Patil. And dot to start. First it was Kamran Hotak, now Naman Patil trying to restore some sanity here. A long way to go before this is going to feel even slightly winnable. And all you can do is make quality deliveries with each ball and field conscientiously and see where it takes you. See if maybe in 3 or 4 overs you feel like you've got a crack at this. Can't look for the home run ball every time. That one's in on the body. Good work by Quatra to close it up. As it squirts back towards third man, that'll be a single. Deep protection with Tahir now at the crease. Located at backwards square. Also backwards point. Sweeper cover. It would appear long off. Mid-on was in the circle, now looks like he's getting pushed back to the rope as well. Lastly, deep mid-wicket. So at the end of the day, pretty standard field here. Good looking adjustment there from Tahir to the movement off the deck. Good fielding out there in the covers. Another dot ball here as strikers try to string this out. If indeed Zwanan get across the line here today, that'll punch their ticket to the Super League Grand Final. Their match with the Aces next week will be a dead rubber. On the other hand, Strikers Gladiators is going to end up being a de facto semi-final. That doesn't help matters. A wide bowl here by Naman Patil. Underrated aspect of today's games. Just 2 wides bowled by Afghan Zwanan. That's just the 3rd bowl by Strikers Cricket Academy NextGen 11. I believe we finished with a total of 34 wides in our first match between the two teams. A very different feeling here. That one is skied. It could be catching practice at cover, but it holds up in the wind. And forced to dive forward and unable to hold it is the fielder. The throw is going to be backed up at third man, but that was an absolute opportunity to take out Advait Rao. And Vinit Quatra will be sad not to have gotten it, although he's already plus value at this point. That is going to go for just a single run. Very tough one. We've already seen him deal with one ball hanging up in that swirling wind. I've been able to hear it in my microphones all day here, particularly all of game 2. That one in tight to Rao. Another single, 4 from the over so far against Naman Patil. Just another 25 runs required from a little more than 8 overs. Left arm over the wicket from Patil, and that one's going to be cut just backwards at point. Another single to finish things off. 4 off the bat, plus the wide. 5 from the over. That leaves Afghan Zwanan 83 for the loss of 4. They sit just another 24 runs away with 8 overs to get them. Suleiman Arabzai's 41 off 32 before he was dismissed by the catch of the day. Currently your high scorer, but Advait Rao is stalking it. He's sitting at 30 off 24. 24 runs left to get for Afghan Zwanan to claim the first ticket to the grand final. It's going to be Pranil Venna, who gave up just 4 runs in his first over of work, back into the attack from Atul Zen. Over the wicket to the righty batter Tahir. That one's down the leg side. That'll be at least 1 wide. Might be a chance at a run out though, as the ball's down the other end. And that is going to be all she wrote for Advait Rao. That's a rough way to have your day end out there. We had just mentioned the possibility of him contending for the high score on the day. That is not going to happen. It's Suleiman Arabzai's for sure. There just aren't enough runs left for anybody else to catch him. That is a wide and a wicket, courtesy of the run-out. Rao went way down the pitch, thinking about trying to take an extra wide. One might argue perhaps a risk not really worth taking at that point. You've got your free run. You only need to go at 3s to the finish line here, and you're in. But he'll depart with 30 off 24. 84 for 5 now, as Advait departs. So the new man in, the number 16 on his back, will be Abhishek Paradkar. He and Tahir, who is now wearing the number 18 shirt, formerly of Nawaz Khan, will continue the righty-lefty sort of thing. Kind of a strange thing how much of that we've had in Game 2, considering that in Game 1, I think we had exactly one left-handed batter in both sides. Shiva Mishra. 2 if you count Vatsal Vagela, but he never batted. Here, almost start to finish, we've had these righty-lefty combinations. A lot of movement in the field. A lot of intrigue and a lot of thought needing to be put into who you bowl, how you try to keep somebody on strike. First delivery from Venna crawls up a bit, off of a reasonable length. That's a dot to Tahir. Baradkar waits for his first ball at the other end. Until such time as Tahir can get him on strike. 23 required from 47. The 5th wicket down. Take out Tahir or Baradkar and it could get interesting. This one tapped to point. They'll take a single. That'll get Baradkar on strike for his first delivery. Saturday also. So we hope you'll tune in next Saturday for the exciting conclusion of the group phase of the NCCA Super League. This game's rescheduled from May 30th. Had a little bit of a not quite halftime break in the midst of the tournament. Back at it now. We've made some decisions. Santa Clara Cricket Club Aces, their contention for a spot in the final at an end. On the other hand, Afghan Zwanan potentially 22 runs away from qualifying for that final directly. Another attempted run out down at the bowler's end, as this time it's Tahir motoring a little far down the pitch. Another dot ball. Baradkar looks to get off the mark here. Benna has been economical from this end. He's got 2 more overs left if they decide to use him. Big swing and a miss. But it's outside the tram. Feels amazing, the ability of an announcer to curse just about anything they like. I cursed one bowler's ability, I think it was Sandeep Singh, his ability to finish an over. Every time I said last ball of the over, he bowled a wide or a no ball. I just mentioned maybe 3 minutes ago how few wides we had in this one, and right away, Pranil Venna bowls 2 of them. That one definitely inside the tram lines, and another cut and a miss, a dot delivery. Baradkar still trying to get off the mark. Certainly been a few batters that have not had productive innings here for Afghan Zwanan, but the big difference between them and the NextGen 11, I would say, is that early on they didn't have anybody sit there and take up space for a long chunk of time without scoring. Generally, they either scored or they departed. That is a pace-off delivery, which is exactly how Baradkar got one of his wickets earlier today. In fact, I need to look. Who did he get that way? It's Vidit Quatra. I was kind of hoping it was Pranil Venna. I was going to say that would be a little turnabout being fair play. Pace-off slow-motion Yorker. Ties the lefty bat into a knot. 1 ball left in the over. That one struck through the offside. Protection out in the deep will claim it. 4 runs off the over, 2 singles and 2 wides. But also wicket number 5 falls. Is it too little too late? Afghan Zwanan 87 for 5. Naman Patil will continue from the Taarika end. His first over went for 5, 4 off the bat and a wide. Right now, we're just about at the point where if you're Strikers Next Gen, you got to be wicket hunting. Probably been there for the last couple of overs, if we're being honest, but given the challenges that this pitch has presented for both of these teams, the bowling attacks have presented, you'll be forgiven for playing a little defensively for a while. It's going to be necessary to attack here. We'll see what kind of field Patil puts in for the left-handed bat of Abhishek Paradkar. Only deep man on the onside, mid-wicket and long on. That one's going to be just barely wide of Ramesh Basnet. Short mid-wicket. Single off the first. No reason for a rush of blood to the head at this point. Zwanan have no care for net run rate. They just need to take this one over the line. They'll move to 7 points, or correction, 8 points in the standings. No one else is going to be able to break 7. They'll finish top of the table. Be on their way to the final. Full toss from Patel. That one is going to scoot along the carpet, but well handled. It's Shrihas Krishna coming up with it at third man. Looking to get over the line in drips and drabs at this point. It's been an impressive bowling performance for the most part from the Strikers Next Gen bowlers. Big issue for them were those first couple of changes. That one's run into the offside, down to cover. Another single. 3 of those already off the first 3 deliveries, and at this point, can't afford that with the entire over anymore. Kamran Hoktak finishes with figures of 2 for 13. Yusuf Azai, 2 for 19 through 3 overs. Both of them keeping it relatively tight. Pranil Venna and Naman Patil have not struck, but they're allowing so far 8 runs each. They've spoken too soon. Naman Patil conceding a 4 there off the bat of Tahir Adil. That's going to move the needle a little bit quicker as they move to 90 for 5. Big issue, though, were those overs right outside the power play. Ivan Jagtiani bowled just the 1. He went for 13. Sagar Takar, he bowled 2 overs. First one wasn't bad. The second one, he got belted. That 20-run over was just about the end of the road. That one shot straight through the outstretched arms of Naman Patil. And to the man at long on. Single there for Tahir. Just 10 runs away from that target. 1 left here in the 14th. That one is worked away. It's a long run for the man in the deep, and I don't know if he kept it inside the rope. Looks like they're going to say all's well for Sagar Takar. So that'll be a pair of runs that takes them to 99 for 5 through 14 overs. Afghan Zwanan just need another 8 to claim victory in their spot in the final. final roll of the dice, you would say, here for Strikers Cricket Academy NextGen 11. They're going to bring up Yusuf Zazai. Change of ends. He'll bowl from Atul's end. Tahir Adil, the one on strike at the moment with 11 from 9. Just another 8 runs required to get over the line. We're certainly in the situation now where probably need 2 or 3 wickets this over to have much of a prayer of taking this one out of the fire. We've seen some crazy stuff in this tournament. Weekend of May 9th, both Strikers, NextGen, and this Afghan Zwanan team found themselves in situations where they were defending a total, something like 9 off 22 required to finish it off. One of them won, the other one stretched it out to the final delivery. That's not the way you're going to want to start, though. A great pull. And that's going to be wide of the deep man at fine leg. Needed 8, now they need 4. And Tahir Adil could end this with 1 swing of the bat. At May 9th weekend, though, featured a 4-run victory for Strikers NextGen over the Gladiators, and Afghan Zwanan losing their only game of the season, despite stretching it all the way out. It was an 8-wicket loss, but it was with just a single ball remaining. Those are the 2 matchups that we're going to have next week. Zwanan Aces won't mean anything, but it might be fun. Strikers Gladiators, though, that looks to be for a spot in the final. A de facto semi-final here after our de facto qualifier match here in the afternoon action. The chase highlighted here by Suleiman Arabzai's 41 off 32. Advait Dumal Rao put up 30 off 24 before he ran himself out. Tahir Adil also sitting here in double figures now at 15 off 11, looking for the finishing touch on this one. Went through the bowlers. Kamran and Yusuf, very nice. Pranil, quite useful. Jagtiani and Tucker, took some tap. That's who the Zwanan decided to attack. They were very concerted about that effort. That one from Zazai is a high one. It's going to get past the wicketkeeper and go back behind. Held in play, but that's going to be 2 byes. I think it was a wide. The signal is simply byes. Or rather, excuse me, a no ball. So that's a no ball, coupled with 2 more runs taken. So Tahir remains on strike. Scores are level, and it's a free hit to put the finishing touches on this match. And that is going to be guided wide of the deep protection, rolling its way to the boundary. Even without the no ball, that would have gotten it done. And that ends our match here today. It's a 5-wicket victory for Afghan Zwanan. They get it done with 33 balls left in the kitty. They are your winners here today. With that, they take first position in the table for themselves. They have clinched it. They will be in that final. As we've been telling you about, the lone remaining game of intrigue is going to be Gladiators versus Strikers NextGen. That is scheduled for 10 a.m. right back here on Saturday, June 13th. And that is going to be a de facto semi-final. Strikers NextGen sitting on 5 points, Gladiators on 4. If Strikers end up playing to a tie, that would get them across the line. But if there is a winner in that game, that's the team that will take on Afghan Zwanan in the final. And good luck to whoever that ends up being, because this team looks awfully tough. Very, very studied batting, potentially explosive, but we saw today able to manage situations on a tough deck and against a tough bowling attack. And my goodness, the bowling, economical and, generally speaking, you're lucky just to survive with all 10 or with any of your 10 wickets still left intact. Today, 9 wickets fell for strikers NextGen. They finished 106 for 9 behind Vivan Jutiani's 31 off 31. Abhishek Paradkar took 3 for 10 in the first innings. Ahmed Hamza 2 for 17. Kamran Hotak did his brother just that one better with his 2 for 13 performance in the second innings, but it ended up being for naught despite the wicket maiden. Contributions again from Arabzai and Advait Dumal Rao, enough to get Afghan Zwanan comfortably over the line. They win by 5 wickets with 33 balls remaining, and they are your number 1 team at the end of the group stage. We'll see you next week here on the NCCA Cricket YouTube page. Otherwise, for Prakash Giri, my name is Joe Hickey. It's been my pleasure to have you along here for coverage of the Chandrabotapati NCAA Super League here on the NCCA Cricket YouTube. See you next time.